10 close calls on plane crashes. Hello and welcome to a new video. Today, Bearded Ninja Top 10 brings you 10 plane accidents that almost happened and caused a lot of panic at air traffic control towers and placed several hundred passengers' lives at risk. Here are 10 close calls in the sky. Subscribe to Bearded Ninja Top 10 and click the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest and most mind-boggling videos. Let's start. Number 10. British Airways 5390. En route to Malaga Airport in Spain, British Airways Flight 5390 had a close call that could have resulted in a disaster on the eve of June 15, 1990. In the cockpit of the aircraft, a widescreen panel connected to the fuselage unloosened and blew away, partially blowing the captain out of the cockpit window. This happened shortly after the plane had departed from Birmingham Airport, and as the autopilot disengaged, 2 crew members had to hold on to the captain who was combating harsh winds and cold. The co-pilot requested an emergency landing and got cleared to land at Southampton Airport, with the captain still hanging onto the cockpit window. Miraculously, everyone survived, including the captain. Number 9. Tupolev 124. In 1963, a Tupolev 124 landed in a river in St. Petersburg. The Tu-124, nicknamed Squeeze Tu-104, departed from Tallinn Airport towards Vnukovo Airport in Moscow. After takeoff, the crew noticed several problems with the aircraft. The landing gear would not retract properly, so the pilots decided to head back to Tallinn, but were denied flight path due to heavy fog. Therefore, they chose to fly to St. Petersburg, but realized that their gauges had also stopped working properly. They had to dump fuel to reduce weight on the plane, but since the gauges were not working properly, they were running short on fuel. When the engines died, the captain decided that the only choice was to land in Neva, a river running through St. Petersburg. The aircraft landed safely, and incredibly, no one was harmed. A tugboat tugged the aircraft to shore. Number 8. Air Canada 759. On July 7, 2017, just before midnight, Air Canada's Flight 759 almost crashed into several airplanes on the runway on its landing approach at the San Francisco International Airport. The pilot of Flight 759 was given the all-clear to land on the right runway, but the plane was off course and headed for the wrong runway where other planes, full of passengers, were readying for takeoff. As the plane came sweeping down from the air, the pilots of the flight on the ground, Philippine Airlines, used their headlights to signal the oncoming plane that they were heading straight for them. Luckily, Air Canada was able to go around at a meager 60 feet above the Philippine airline jet, and the crisis was averted. Number 7. Frontier Airbus. This plane had a close call with an unmanned aerial vehicle. The plane was on its way to Las Vegas McCarran International Airport when it flew underneath the drone. After a video of the incident was posted by a drone on social media, people quickly pointed out that the drone, flying at 400 feet altitude, this height is illegal for drones, and the drone broke at least 2 aerial traffic laws. It was way too close to the airport. Thus, the drone broke the rules for unmanned drones. Had the drone collided with the plane, it would have resulted in a serious crash, resulting in several casualties. Surprised by these incidents? Be sure to see the number 1 close call on our list. We bet it will leave you stunned. Number 6. Varig 254. Varig Flight 254 was on a planned passenger flight from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Belém, capital city of the state of Para, within the country's north region, on the 3rd of September 1989. The flight had several interim stops, the final being in Maraba, Para. Right before the takeoff from Maraba, the flight crew entered an inaccurate heading into the flight computer, flying deep into an inaccessible region of the Amazon jungle. Endeavors to land in an alternative airport were unsuccessful, and the plane inevitably ran out of fuel, making a belly landing in the heart of the jungle near Rio de Janeiro. Of the 54 onboard passengers and crew, 12 passed away and numerous more were severely wounded. The survivors were rescued 2 days later. Number 5. O'Hare International Airport Close Call. In March 2019, two planes at the O'Hare International Airport almost collided with each other if it was not for the fast action of an air traffic controller. The planes, an American Airlines jet and an Envoy aircraft, had taken off from parallel runways at the airport. However, were set on a collision path because the Envoy plane had made a left turn instead of staying on a straight path. Due to the air traffic controller's intervention, the passengers had a scary experience, only but were otherwise unharmed as the collision was successfully avoided. Wondering what to watch next? You might want to check out our upload 7 scariest shark attacks people survived from, where we tell you about the scariest shark attack stories by the survivors themselves. Let's get back to the video. Number 4. Japan Airlines Boeing 747 and DC-10 near collision midair. In 2001, a mid-air collision almost happened between two Japanese aircraft, a Boeing 747 and a DC-10 aircraft, both belonging to Japanese Airlines. Due to a trainee aircraft traffic controller making a mistake, both flights were set on a collision path, and even when the supervisor at the controller center took over, he directed an incorrect flight to start descending, which no one realized. The 747 captain made a sharp downward maneuver to avoid colliding with the DC-10 and missed the aircraft by a mere 35 feet. A lot of people sustained injury aboard the plane, but otherwise, they were unharmed and the planes landed safely. Number 3. Ural Airlines Flight 178. On August 15, 2019, a Ural Airlines Flight 178 landed in a cornfield about 2 miles from Zhukovsky, Moscow. The flight after takeoff had run into birds and the aircraft's engine had consumed them and lost power. As such, the pilots had to find a landing site, and fortunately, the cornfield provided a flat enough surface to attempt an emergency landing. The aircraft was broken beyond repair after the landing, but no one was gravely harmed and everyone made a full recovery. 29 people were taken to a hospital for injuries, but the rest were dealt with on site. Number 2. US Airways Flight 1549. A US Airways Airbus A320 took off from New York on January 15, 2009. However, a swarm of geese flew into the Airbus engines, and they lost power. The aircraft was diverted to Teterboro Airport, but realizing they could not make it back to any airport, the captains decided to land in the Hudson. Surprisingly, they managed to do so, and the passengers were rescued by ferries and boats from the aircraft's wings. And last but not the least, number 1, the piggyback. The piggyback Ansons had a deadly near miss in a cloudless sky in New South Wales, Australia on September 29, 1942. 2 of the Avro Ansons planes crashed into the air. However, their angle of collision, surprisingly enough, was such that it formed a kind of 4-engine biplane. Can you imagine such coincidence? This unusual phenomenon occurs when the 2 planes are pacing at the same speed and the same altitude in the air, and in the exact same bearing. Sheer luck, we say. The upper plane literally pancaked upon the lower Anson when the collision occurred. The top Anson quite literally piggybacked on the lower one. Somehow, the 2 planes managed to land safely. with the only damage inflicted being the one done in the initial impact of the two planes. What are the odds, guys? These are the top 10 near misses in the aviation industry over the past few decades. Flying has gotten a lot safer these days. But these close calls remind us just how tricky the flying business is, if not for the skill of pilots and air traffic controllers. Subscribe to Bearded Ninja Top 10 and click the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest uploads. If you like this video, smash the like button and share it with your friends. See you in the next video.